Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to rank my top 10 all-time favorite albums, the ones that have permanently shaped my musical taste. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Eleonora Moriarty. Moriarty Dao on social. I'm a death and thrash metal guitarist, and I usually post short cover videos, but I'm back on YouTube with full-length videos to talk about my gear, do vlogs, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Until now, you've mostly heard me talk about my three favorite bands, Death, Children of Bodom, and Nevermore, but I actually listen to a lot more than just those. In this ranking, you won't find only metal bands. There will also be a few albums that have absolutely nothing to do with metal. I'll share some interesting facts, point out my favorite song, and we'll discuss them together. I own some of the albums, so I'll show you what they look like in detail in case you want to buy them. I have a few editions that are worth checking out. For the ones I don't own, I'll put a picture. Some of the info I'm going to share comes from this magazine, which is super interesting and full of cool facts, and from online reviews, especially from Metal Eyes magazine. Number 10. A Kind of Magic by Queen. This is one of the albums that doesn't really fit in with the others. It's a 1986 edition, which is the year the album came out. I'm really attached to this one. I used to hear it all time at home when I was little, and I remember loving the musical video for the title track, A Kind of Magic. It's very unique, go watch it if you haven't. Another Queen video I remember vividly is I Want to Break Free. As a kid, it always made me laugh. Queen made it into the list because I have an emotional connection with them. In fact, this CD was a gift from my dad to my mom, making it even more special. Number 9. Don't Break the Oath by Merciful Fate. This album is spectacular, in my opinion pretty underrated. Actually, I think the whole band is underrated and doesn't get talked about enough. One of my all-time favorite songs is Desecration of Souls. It starts off with a just guitar riff that totally stuck in my head. My other two favorite tracks are A Dangerous Meeting and Gypsy, both also incredible. About a year ago, I made a YouTube shorts featuring the top 3 riffs from this album. It's on my channel if you want to check it out. Number 8. Season in the Abyss by Slayer. This was a thought choice because I'm a huge Slayer fan. You've probably noticed if you follow me here on or Instagram. I decided to pick just one album per band, and for Slayer, this is the winner. I know there are also Raining Blood, South of Heaven, and Show No Mercy, but my favorite songs are all on this album. You've got Dead Skin Mask, War Ensemble, Skeleton of Society, so yeah, this one wins for me. Number 7. The Evil Divide by Death Angel. This one is fairly recent. It came out in 2016, but it's really amazing. Maybe some of you don't know it, but I highly recommend giving it a listen. If you are familiar with Death Angel, you probably know their debut The Ultraviolence from 1987. This album has a different sound and vibe, more modern, maybe a bit more hardcore, and I was surprised by how much I like it, because I'm usually not into that kind of tone. I later realized that some of the riff in The Evil Divide remind me of the Children of Bodom era, from Hate Crew Death Roll to Blood Drunk, so that made sense. Listen to tracks like I Can Be This or Hatred United and you will understand what I mean. This was the album I obsessed when I got my greeny guitar, and one of the very first songs I played on it was The Moth. Number 6. Into the Mirror Black by Sanctuary. For those of you who don't know Sanctuary, shame on you. They are an heavy metal band with a pretty dark vibe. Warhol Dane fronted them before he formed Nevermore. Some of you might know their debut, Refuge Denied, which is a masterpiece and has a fun fact. It was produced by none other than Dave Mustaine. This is the album I listen when I'm not in the mood hearing Chuck screaming, when I want clean vocals. It's a great introduction to what would eventually become Nevermore. It's an evergreen album for me. I listen it when I don't know what I want to hear. I found this copy at a fair and I bought it right away. Number 5. The Twin Peaks original soundtracks by Angelo Badalamenti. Another no-metal album that has nothing to do with the others. If you have seen my other videos or are subscribed to the channel, you know I'm a big Twin Peaks fan. This is a compilation of music from the series. It's an ambient noir album written by Angelo Badalamenti and released in 1990. This is my go-to chill album. The sound song dedicated to Audrey is a jazz piece, for example. The album is mostly instrumental. I leave a link in the description to a video where Angelo explains how he composed the Twin Peaks soundtrack. This video is a must-watch. Number 4. The Fragile Art of Existence by Control Denied. This was an incredible discovery for me. It came out in 1919 under Nuclear Blast Records, and it's truly something special. Interestingly, songs like Spirit Crusher, Bite the Pain, A Moment of Clarity were originally meant for this album, but due to early agreements with the Nuclear Blast, they end up on The Sound of Perseverance instead, which was released before this album. Control Denied is much more heavy metal if we want to categorize it. Here's a cool fact. Chuck actually asked Warhol Dane to sing on this album. Death and Nevermore had toured together, and Chuck loved Warhol Dane. Unfortunately, Warhol couldn't do it because he was busy with Nevermore. In 1999, he was working on next 2 albums, which bring us to number 3, Dreaming Neon Black and Dead Art in a Dead World by Nevermore. I honestly couldn't pick one between these 2. Dreaming is mind-blowing. I've read several reviews of it and it always gets top marks. Sadly, this one of those albums has sales for really high prices. I tried to buy a copy a few years ago. It's a tough one to get. I don't have it, but I really want. My favorite song is definitely Forever, the last one, but all of them are great. Warhol's vocal lines are spectacular and perfectly fits the dreamlike theme of the albums. If you don't know this one, you absolutely need to listen to it. That Heart is easier to find. This copy is a reissue I got from EMP a few years ago. It's still available. This was the album that introduced me to Nevermore and the one I've listened most in my life. I've studied a lot of the songs from it. You might remember because I used to post only Nevermore covers. Favorite song? The River Dragon has come. But also The Engines of Hate, The Art Collector, One's Better than Next. The guitar parts are super hard and they help me improve a lot, especially with the alternate picking. I have a bit of weird relationship with this band. There are times where I listen to them non-stop for months, and others where I go a long while without them. Number 2, Hatebreeder by Children of Bodom. This is their second album, right between 2 other masterpieces, Something Wild and Follow the Reaper. Is another one I absolutely love, and it was hard to choose between Hatebreeder and Follow the Reaper. Downfall is definitely my favorite track, but the riff is such a pain to learn. Here's a couple of fun facts I found about Hatebreeder. The intro to the first track, Warheart, includes a line, "From now on, we are enemies, you and I." It's from the film Amadeus, one of Alex's favorites. Another cool detail, the D minor arpeggio in Hatebreeder is actually the relative minor of a phrase from Mozart's Magic Flute. Number 1. Symbolic by Death. My favorite album in the world, and according to Chuck, the best Death album. Here we find a more serene, fulfilled Chuck. He describes Symbolic as having more positive vibes. It's still death metal, of course. Chuck also mentioned that there are still plenty of things in this world that piss me off. So we still get tracks like Zero Tolerance, but there are also songs like Perennial Quest, which explores humanity's eternal search of happiness. Symbolic is an extreme album. Extreme in the sense that Chuck was driven to undo himself to create something truly unique, and I think we can all agree he nailed it. My favorite song? Definitely Without Judgment, I think. Probably the first one I seriously studied from Symbolic. I love the tapping part. These are the albums that have had the biggest influence on my musical taste. I hope this video helped you get to know me a little better and maybe even discover some new albums. Thank you so much for watching and for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time.